I pray you watch over me. Watch over me, oh y'all, through my trials and tribulations. Until I rest in peace. Until that day, until your day. I'm on my bending knees. You know, oh, watch over me. I pray you watch over me.
Israelite, brother, they're God's chosen people. If you want to keep the commandments of the Most High, you got to be around brothers who keep the commandments of the Most High. That's the only way. Go ahead and read that.
Come on. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13.
Read.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Read.
Fear God.
The Most High say, fear Him. How do you fear the Heavenly Father, brother? How do you show the Heavenly Father fear?
Because I'm very scared to do things I should not be doing. Right?
Exactly. Because you fear the Most High, you're going to be scared to do things that's against Him. Because if you celebrate Christmas, in your mind, dang, He's going to kill me if I do this.
Whoa. No, He's not going to kill me. Because
Wait, hold up. You say the Heavenly Father not going to kill you?
I don't celebrate that.
No, I'm saying, because you fear Him, you're not going to do it because you know there's a judgment that's going to follow. That's what I'm saying. Read.
Fear God.
Fear the Heavenly Father, read.
And keep His commandments.
And do what?
And keep His commandments.
And keep His commandments, brother. Your whole duty is to keep the commandments of the Most High. Go ahead. Brother. Yeah, be real with me. Keep it 1K.
You know, I'm the chosen one. I got to do what I got to do, man.
You the chosen one?
Yeah, he chose
Wait,
me.
hold up.
He told me to preach this thing.
Wait, hold on. Everybody say
what?
Everybody say they're the chosen. Who's the chosen people of the Most High? Because every hood, I'm not talking about you, I'm speaking in general. If I'm asking you the question, don't ask me a question with a question. No, of course not. They're going to slavery.
That's right.
They're going to slavery, brother. So let's take that off the table. Now, every hood Negro always says, I'm the chosen one. Right. And he's out here killing somebody's mother. No, he's robbing somebody's bank. I'm not saying you, I'm speaking in general.
Hold on.
Isaiah 44:1.
I can take a wall and still right now and have a big crowd at home.
You can? Then go get him to come across then. Right. Get him to come across. Isaiah 44:1.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 44 and verse 1.
Read.
Yea, now hear, O Jacob, my servant.
His servant, which is the 12 tribes of Israel. Read.
And Israel.
And who?
And Israel.
What?
And Israel.
And Israel. You can't call yourself a black American and say you're the chosen one. The Most High not dealing with black Americans.
Read. Right. And Israel.
And Israel, read.
Whom I've chosen.
Whom the Most High have chosen. Brother, you are the chosen people of the Most High, but you got to come back and keep the commandments of the Most High. We have a school, 2937, one of the many homes of the truth. 2937 West Broad Boulevard, brother. We invite you. We have a Shabbat service tomorrow at 12 p.m. We have a service tomorrow. 2937 West Broad Boulevard. It's on the flyer. We want to see you come through, brother. Learn how to be a chosen people of the Most High. So you can flex your muscles and say you're the chosen one.
Let me talk when I come over there.
We got to let you talk, brother. We letting you talk right now, right? So of course we're going to let you talk over there.
I'm here because I don't got time. I got to go do stuff for my kids.
Right.
But I'm telling you, when I come to y'all, don't stop.
Go ahead.
I'm going to let me speak. Let me do some talking.
You want to do some talking? You sure?
I'm going to go deep, man.
You want to go deep? Let me show what that. Wait, do you believe in the words of the Heavenly Father?
I've been going 9 times.
Wait, hold up. Do you, brother? Hold up, brother. Hold up. Shemai, hold up. Out of love, hold up. Now, you say you're ready to speak and teach, right? Do you believe in the words of the Heavenly Father?
Of course.
Hebrews 5 and 12. Let me show you something. Hebrews 5 and 12.
So you
Once you get it, read it.
I'm deep in
You got what you got?
I ain't to my all that done. I'm telling you that in the God.
2 John chapter 2. First John.
That know him?
Yeah.
Hold on. Read that.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 5, verse 12.
Read.
For when the time he had to be teachers.
To be what?
To be teachers.
To be who?
To be teachers.
When it's time for you to speak and be a teacher of the words of the Heavenly Father, you read?
He have need.
He have what?
He have need.
No, maybe.
He have need.
Maybe when I feel like it.
He have need.
You have to read.
That one teach you.
Do what?
That one teach you.
That one teach you, read.
Again.
A what?
Again.
A who?
Again.
A what?
Again.
Because your heritage was taken to you, now it's being given to you. Again, read.
Which be the first principle.
Which be the what?
The first principle.
Which be the basics, the foundation, the milk, read.
Of the oracles of God.
Which is the laws of God. Now you say you want to speak, right? When you get there. Now I'm going to show you an example why you got to be taught before you speak. I'm going to show you a perfect example. Hold on. I'm going to give you a perfect example. I'm going to give you a perfect example right now. What day did the Heavenly Father make strawberries?
What day?
What day did he make strawberries? Hey, Shemai.
No, you take me too far back, bro. Right now.
See, that's why you got to be taught before you speak.
Right.
That's an example right there. And it's out of love and humility, brother. We want to raise you up to be a man of the Most High. I want to see you over here. The Heavenly Father's raising up an army. I don't know about you, brother, but one day we're going to chase these people down in the mountains and put them in chains.
That's right.
One day they're gonna get double for what they did to our forefathers. Ezekiel 37:10. And after that, I'm going to give you the floor if you have any questions, brother. Ezekiel 37:10. You get that once you get a chance.
This is the book of
You want me
Ezekiel.
reading too? Okay, go ahead. Read that.
Chapter 37 and verse 10.
Read.
So I prophesied.
1:26.
So I prophesied as commanding,
Right.
and the breath came into them,
Right. Read.
and they lived,
And they what?
and they lived,
And they who?
and they lived.
This word is what's gonna bring you to life, brother. The Most High power is building up an army. Read.
And stood up,
And what?
and stood up,
And did what?
and stood up,
And did who?
and stood up
Ezekiel 8:4 instead. Read.
upon their feet,
Right. Read.
and exceedingly,
And what?
and exceedingly,
And
and exceedingly,
exceedingly read.
great army,
A great who?
great army,
No, a group of Negroes.
great army,
A group of Hispanics.
great army,
A group of Indians celebrating powwows.
great army.
A great army. Not baby boys. What's going on, brother? Why don't you pull over? The Most High not raising up men like that.
That's right.
Read.
Then he said unto
He
me,
raising up a great army, brother. Hunting day is coming soon.
That's right.
Hunting day coming.
Hey, I gotta go over there.
Right, be safe, brother. Come check us out, man. Come check us out, brother. Or we gonna come hunt you down. We gonna come hunt you down. I'm gonna send white Jesus after you. Go ahead and read that.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 8 and verse 4.
Read.
And behold,
Read.
the glory of the God of Israel was there, according to the vision that I saw in the plain. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9 and verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city.
The Most High tell us to go out.
We do 133.
No,
Songs one in the beginning?
Mashiach Falad.
Oh, 1969.
133 of that close.
Con. Con. Hallelujah.
Akyum!
Akim! Yo! Bishop said, let's go. Yeah. I was watching videos of you and Priest Kahan back when y'all was in New York. I guess the We Got Next shirts had just come out. I don't know, because the one you had on was real fresh. God, you was wearing glasses. Yeah, you was wearing glasses. You had some size on you. I was like, look at Bishop, Elder Bishop. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where y'all were, but y'all. I believe y'all were in New York. Yeah, con. Both of y'all looking all young and spry, full of energy.
We got next, huh?
Con. Camp voices. I don't know.
That wasn't New York.
Beard was black. Con.
We got next song?
You had a We Got Next. It was white with black writing. You had a bonnet on.
Ain't this me and Connor alone?
I think so, yeah.
Well, they're probably in the Bahamas.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know where it
in the
was.
Bahamas. Yeah, we had gone to the Bahamas.
Con.
Probably what it was, Bahamas. Yeah.
Barzal, what's going on, Ott? Elder Bishop ready to go. Bring whoever's supposed to be up here, Baba
Who
Kushal.
got this? We got next. Who got that screen?
Nathaniel? Bring him on in. Let's get it going. Yeah, I don't know where y'all were, but y'all was standing on the block, getting it in. Right now?
Live?
Yeah, it's right here. It's on the
So right now, this is being broadcasted?
Yeah. As soon as you said you was ready, I'll put it on.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Good luck, y'all.
I'm coming in there. I'm real short, bro. That was so much good.
Con. Shalom.
Con. Madin Wapanya, Yerushalayim, stand and face Jerusalem. Mashiach's Ballad, the Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6 verse 9. Abanawa, Shabashamayim, Kadash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malak Taba'a, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Natan Lanawa, Nakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalak Nawa, Kawabak Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kawabak Nawa, Wala'a, Tabaya Anawa, Banasayawan, Abal, Hawashan Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahata Pa'arak, La'olamyam, La'asham, Amashiach, La'washan, Tawar, Aman.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Bahashem HaMashiach Yahushai, the waters of Yad, Amen.
Amen. Shabbat. You see that? Shabbat Shalom, Yeshua.
Shabbat Shalom.
I praise the Most High by Shomah Dawashad for Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And the Most High once again for another Shabbat day, where Israel can come together in the holy convocation as per the covenant that they made with the forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Who are we? We are the Light of Zion, located down in South Florida, Broward County, 2937 West Broward Boulevard. I am an Elder Bishop Lapalal, and to my left,
Captain Zamar.
Kan. We are here to edify our people on the Shabbat day. Last week we read about 2 Kings chapter 17, where the Assyrian army besieged and invaded the northern kingdom of Israel in Samaria and took all the 10 tribes or so from their sovereignty, from the kingdom, brought them to different locations within the Assyrian Empire. Because at the time, we're talking about 722 BC or so, around that time. The Assyrians were one of the major superpowers on the earth at the time. And there's a lot of warfare going on at that era of time. Nations were invading nations. Other nations paid tribute to them, putting other nations into captivity, putting their kings to death, imprisoned. Just about all the nations were in some form or fashion, because the Assyrians were invading. We had a situation where Syria had many wars against the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. From time to time, there was so many warfares going on, and some of the time also our nation would call the Egyptians for backup. So all the nation, there was a lot of warfare going on. So warfare is not anything new, because as Israelites became coming out of Egypt, they had to fight our way into the kingdom, literally. Because when we were coming out of Egypt, we were just half a million people. You know what I'm saying? And we were not even organized militarily. But what? We were out, the Most High what? Our Father, the man of war. And the spirit of warfare was Most High could instill that in us. And the Most High inspired us and encouraged us to be warriors. So we were attacked by the Amalekites. You have to go through a variety of nations to get in the kingdom. And even to get the kingdom, we have to fight against the inhabitants of the kingdom. The Canaanites, Hittites, all those nations we read about. Give me a Colossians 3:17. We're going to refresh your memories and, Then we go into what our topic of the day. Colossians 3, verse 17.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all by Hashem and Mashiach Yahushai, giving thanks to the Abba, and giving thanks to the power and the Abba by him.
Right, whatever you do in word or deed, meaning whatever action you take, or whatever thoughts come into your mind, make sure everything is consistent with the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. Make sure it's not according to anything that's worldly matters or something that somebody says. Make sure it's very much in conformity to the Most High's commandments. Give me Deuteronomy 7. Because like I said, we have to fight many wars. We have to fight. You were attacked. Because the nations, they didn't want us, we asked for permission to go to the land, like Edom and all that, to go to the, to pass by the land, go to the certain parts of their territories. I would even pay them for food or water or anything that we took from them. They said no. And while we were on our way into the homeland, we were attacked, and attacked by different nations. So the Most High, we have to, I'm saying, as I say, man up. We have to step our game up as far as military. I'm saying organize into an army. Because even when we were coming to Egypt, the Most High said an army of Israelites come. But I'm saying, but we were not organized militarily in any way. But we have to be like quick studies, man. I'm saying we have to organize ourselves very, very fast, because it was a matter of survival. Because you were, once one nation heard what we did, once a nation heard what we did to a previous nation, They were looking out for us, preparing for us. They saying, that's not going to happen to us. I'm saying, but the Most High had other plans. Deuteronomy 7.
7:1.
Let's start from verse 1.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, and verse 1. When the Most High thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou.
See, those nations, 7 nations, greater and mightier than we were, because they were greater in numbers, they were more organized militarily and economically, politically, and otherwise. In every aspect, they were more organized, because we were coming out of slavery. We were not a nation yet. And I'm saying we were like a nation, you know, at the infancy stage. You were a nation in a land that was organized ours. So all these nations were mightier and greater than we were. But the Most High was going to put them out. I read on.
Verse 2. And when the Most High thy power shall deliver them before thee.
See that? The Most High power shall deliver them before us. So whatever victory we had was not of our own accord. It was by the hand of the Most High. The Most High was what? Delivering them to us. Because we were not able to do anything of our own. So whatever military accomplishment we had was what? By the help of the Most High. At every stage of the way. Read on.
Thou shalt smite them.
You shall what?
Shall smite them.
Smite them.
And utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son.
We shall smite them and utterly destroy them. So at that point then, we see that, hey, we were stepping up. The Most High was strengthening us. We were now coming into our own as a mighty power ourselves. I'm saying, fighting against nations who were mightier and greater than we were, numerically and militarily, in all aspects of them, because the Most High strengthened us, to put us on a so-called level playing field where we could, compete militarily against these powerful nations. Just like in these last days, the same thing will happen again in the second Exodus. Because right now we're like, we're a nation in exile, just like we were a nation in exile back then in Egypt. But guess what? The Most High is going to empower us in all aspects, whatever it takes for us to overcome these nations, because all these nations, whatever you see going on, man, all these nations, they are just have, it's like they're on one accord when it comes to our demise, when it comes to our destruction. They're on one accord. I'm saying because even nations come over here, they learn from the so-called white man, from Esau, how to treat Jacob. Treat us like second-class citizens. From way back when, ever since I came to this country, that's what I understand. This is how you treat Jake. This is how you go to the community. That's why all these different nations come into our communities, set up shop for their own benefit. They don't live amongst us. They're just coming to exploit us economically, take the money, and go. We can't do that in their community. They wouldn't allow that. Read on.
Nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall ye deal with them.
Okay, all right. See, I just went there to show that, we got to fight against different nations from the very, very onset, from the very beginning. Coming out of Egypt, we were not even an organized nation. So we had to be fighting. Understand? We had to be fighting against the different nations. So, and from that's getting to homeland. And to get there, we have to go through a whole variety of nations. We're attacked by different nations. Okay, so now we are in a different era. What you got, person? You got something? I got a precept? You got a Judith
7 and 25.
Chapter 7, verse 25.
Come on.
All right, read that. Judith chapter 7, verse 25 in the Apocrypha.
This is the book of Judah, chapter 7 and verse 25 in the Red Apocrypha. For now we have no helper, but the Most High hath sold us into their hands, that we should be thrown down before them with thirst and great destruction.
See that? Now we have no helper, but the Most High, let's do what? Read again.
For we now have no helper.
Now we now have no helper. The only time that Israel has no helper is when? When they break the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, disobey the Most High. When you keep the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, the Most High is our helper.
Come.
But anytime we get proud and puffed up and forsake the Most High, what is the Most High going to do? Likewise, forsake us. We have no helper. And now we are just vulnerable, totally exposed, defenseless, open for attack. That's what's going on with our people right now, man. Wherever we are. Our people are in gross darkness, not keeping the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. So we are like easy prey. That's why you see people being shut down, violated, discriminated against. Why? Because of our disobedience against the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. Read it again, huh?
This is the book of Judah, chapter 7 and verse 25. For now we have no helper.
No helper, read on.
But the Most High hath sold us into their hands.
The Most High sold us into their hands. The Most High sold us into the hands of the so-called white man and the other nations. That's why we offer prey unto them. Read on.
That we should be thrown down before them with thirst and great destruction.
We should be thrown down before them with thirst and great destruction. A hunger and thirst. Whatever you want, what do we do? You gotta buy it from them. You want food, drink, you gotta buy it from them. Clothing, you gotta buy it from them. And because we are so susceptible to them and vulnerable to them and dependent on them, they easily exploit us. Whatever they offer us, we can't bargain. It's like going to a negotiating table, but you have no skin in the game, so to speak. You have nothing to offer. So whatever you put on the table, you have no choice but to take it. That's why our people get out these minimum wage jobs. Last hired, first fired. You know.
Now, therefore, call them unto you, and deliver the whole city for a spoil to the people of Holofernes.
All right, that's enough of that. Okay. Let's go on to a topic of the day. You got you also have the title of the topic of the day. Is it there? It's in WhatsApp. See if it's in WhatsApp. The Most High Angelic army against the Assyrian army. Yeah. Is it there? Yeah, all right. 2 Kings chapter 18, verse 1.
This is the
As
book.
a matter of fact, before we go there, let's go to 2 Kings chapter 17, verse 1. To get us kind of perspective.
Connor. This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 17 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea, the son of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years.
Right, so in the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, The Most High always tell you when, because we have two kingdoms, the northern and the southern, the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel. So whenever one kingdom comes into rulership, the Most High always kind of juxtapose that kingdom versus the other one as to what year or what era of time one king was in rulership in relation to the other kingdom. So Ahaz, king of Judah, began in the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hosea to reign in Samaria, and he reigned for 9 years. Read on.
Verse 2. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Most High, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents.
So Hosea, king of Israel, the northern kingdom, reigned for 9 years, and it was evil. And the Most High sent the Assyrians, King Shalmaneser, against Hosea, the northern kingdom. And Hosea was paying tribute to Shalmaneser, the Assyrian king. Read on.
Verse 4. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year.
See that? You asked earlier, how many different nations was a war. So I was saying that many nations were a war, because right here we see that the Assyrians, under the leadership of Shalmaneser, was waging war against northern kingdom. And Hosea, and Hosea was, what did he do? He sent for help from Egypt. Even though the Egyptians were not a part of the immediate war, but they always try to bring another, if one nation is invading you, what do you do? You request help from another nation. So that's what they would do. Go ahead,
Why not go to Judah? Why there was
That's another thing. Don't assume because Judah and the kingdom of Judah and Israel are the same nation. And you know what I'm saying, that they were not always at peace. There were times when the northern and southern kingdom were at war against each other. And they would even go to another nation outside of to fight against their own people. It happens continually. You know what I'm saying? There are many times when the northern and southern kingdom would war with each other, and they would request help from another outside nation to fight against their own people. That happened all the time through Israeli history, even from the time of the Maccabees. That's how the Romans came into to take over Israel. That was later on. That was later on. That's what because when the Maccabees when they had internal warfare, they request help from the Romans. The Romans say, "I help you, but I gotta occupy your land and all that." And little by little, what do they do? Take over. So whenever you request help from someone else, it's gonna cost you. Right, that's like you said, why didn't he ask Judah for help? Because Judah wasn't cool at the time, so to speak. There was tension between the northern and southern kingdom. They were not always on good terms. Understand? Read on.
Therefore, the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison.
Right, so Assyria had besieged the northern kingdom of Israel under Hoshea. Hoshea was initially paying tribute to Assyria, but he said, "Well, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm going to seek help." So he stopped paying tribute to Assyria and went to Egypt. And the Assyrians found out about it and said, "Yeah, hey, you're in violation." That wasn't the agreement. So the Assyrians said, "You know what? I don't like what they did. You broke the agreement that we had that you should pay tribute to me. And you went to the Egyptian for help. So you know what? I'm going to put you in prison." So that's what they did. they put Hoshea, the king of Israel, the northern kingdom, in prison.
That's when they went to captivity? No?
Yeah, just about. That's the same era of time, leading up to it. Okay. Read on.
Verse 5. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land, and went up to Samaria, and besieged it 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria, and carried Israel away into Assyria, and placed them in Halah, and in Habor by the river of Gozan.
Right, so that's exactly, yes. That's just when the Assyrians came into the northern kingdom of Israel, Samaria, and take the Israelites out from there, brought them to different parts of the Assyrian Empire. Okay, but that was that. So now that was I'm going to shift the focus now to the southern kingdom, to Judah, to see what had transpired. Okay, this is the Assyrians conquered the northern kingdom under Hoshea, who ruled for 9 years. Okay? So now the Assyrians are looking now to conquer the southern kingdom. Alright? Okay. Let's see all that played out. We just read that Hoshea did evil in the sight of the Most High. That's the reason why the Most High sent the Assyrians against Hoshea. Whenever they did evil in the sight of the Most High, historically, if you read up ever since it came to into our homeland, that was always the case. Whenever Israel did evil in the sight of the Most High, He would send the other nation against us. And we had many cases where we were captives, or slaves, and occupied, and had to pay tribute to the other nations because of our disobedience. But because the Most High was merciful, and the Most High remembered the covenant that He made with our forefathers, whenever we cried unto the Most High for help, He would raise up certain men amongst us to deliver us from the captivity and bondage under the other nations. Now, like I said, we just read of the northern kingdom under Hoshea was carried away captive by the Assyrians. This is what about 722 BC. So now, the same Assyrians are now shifting their focus to the southern kingdom. Now let's see how that plays out. How that played out. 2 Kings chapter 18, verse 1.
This is the book of 2 Kings chapter 18 and verse 1. Now it came to pass in the 3rd year of Hoshea, son of Elah, king of Israel, that Hezekiah, the son of Ahaz, king of Judah, began to reign.
Right. So Hezekiah began to reign in the 3rd year of Hoshea's rulership. So Hoshea was ruling 3 years before Hezekiah became king. Read on.
Verse 2. 25 years old was he when he began to reign.
Young man. Read on.
And he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Abi, the daughter of Zechariah.
He reigned 29 years. Read on.
And he did that which was right in the sight of the Most High, according to all that David his father did.
So Hezekiah, young man who began ruling at 25 and ruled for 29 years, was a righteous king. He kept the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. What got that?
That's just what she just read. His mother was the daughter of Zacharias, the prophet?
No. This is another Zechariah. Read on.
Verse 4. He removed the high places and break the images.
Stop. You're going to find in Israel that, names got repeated, you know what I'm saying? From different era because, That's another way of keeping our tradition going on, our heritage and all that. Our culture going on. Yeah. Read on.
Verse 4. He removed the high places and break the images and cut down the groves and break in pieces the brazen serpent that Moses had made. For unto those days the children of Israel did burn incense to it. And he called it Neshatan.
So Hezekiah was a righteous king you break down all those altars and groves and all that previous kings had built to sacrifice unto the idols of the other nations. So whatever images they found that was contrary to the Most High's laws, certain commandments, he broke them down and tried to establish righteousness in Israel, the southern kingdom. Read on.
Verse 5. He trusted in the most high power of Israel, so that after him was none like him among all the kings of Judah, nor any that were before him.
Wow, this guy was on a different level. There was none like him before. There was none before him like him, before or after him. Read on.
For he clave to the Most High and departed not from following him, but kept his commandments, which the Most High commanded Moses. And the Most High was with him, and he prospered whithersoever he went forth, and he rebelled against the king of Assyria and served him not.
See that? So he rebelled. The Assyrians was the superpower of that time. Understand? The Assyrians took down the northern kingdom. And he had their eyes on Judah, the southern kingdom. But Hezekiah said, hey, we're not going for that. We're not going to pay no tribute to you. So you rebelled against the Assyrians. Okay, we're going to see what it played out. Read on.
Verse 8. He smote the Philistines.
Give my map up here. This guy was no punk. He did what?
He smote the Philistines.
He smoked the Philistines. You know the Philistines, right? We had many wars with the Philistines in the time of David. Remember Goliath? He had many warfare with the Philistines, man. The Philistines were on the Philistines were on the western side of Israel, western Israel. He smote the Philistines. Read on.
Even unto Gaza.
Where's Gaza? See, even unto Gaza. I can get me on one of them drumsticks. Go out, Bible shop. Need a little pointer right here, so I can, yeah. See, Gaza. Where's Gaza? Even to Gaza. Smote the Philistines even to Gaza. So the Philistines are probably along the coast, on the west coast. So smote them even to Gaza. Maybe you can show me a map with them, so show me Judah and all that. But Judah's down there. Judah, see that? Right. Got it right. So they smote the Philistines all along the west coast, even to Gaza. I read on.
And the borders thereof. From the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. Mm-hmm. And it came to pass in the 4th year of King Hezekiah, which was the 7th year of Hoshea, son of Elah, king of Israel, that Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, came up against Samaria and besieged it.
Read what verse is that? Verse 9?
Verse 9, Con.
Read it again.
Verse 9. And it came to pass in the 4th year of King Hezekiah.
In the 4th year of King Hezekiah. So you see, just like with the so-called a new president, Joe Biden in America, whenever there's a change of government, rulership, supposedly, the weakest, so other nation that are going to try and test you. Mm-hmm. So you hear rumors of how they're gonna do this, and they're gonna hear about North Korea, Iran, those supposed enemies of America. Are we gonna build up our nuclear arsenal? We're gonna do this and all that because there's a test just to see how this president gonna react because okay, he's not established yet, so maybe he's not so strong yet. So maybe we can get away with certain things. Mm-hmm. Same thing right here with Hezekiah. It was what? It came to pass in the 4th year. It's not that in America, president ruled for what, 4 years, but in back in that time, you ruled for like 29, whatever. Hezekiah ruled for 29 years. So after 4 years, that's a short time. So it wasn't established yet. And plus he was a young man, only 25 years old, and became king. So he ruled for 29 years, but he was 25 when he became king. He was 29, right? 25 plus 4, 29. Right, so Solomon said, let me test this young guy. So he said, I'm going to go up to Jerusalem. And it came to pass in the 4th year of King Hezekiah, which was the 7th year of Hoshea, son of Elah, king of Israel, that Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, came up against Samaria and besieged it. Say, let me test this young guy and see how he reacts. I'm the Syrian king. You gotta respect me. You must have heard about me. Let me see how he reacts to my intimidating tactics. Read on.
Verse 10. And at the end of 3 years, they took it. Even in the 6th year of Hezekiah, that is the 9th year of Hoshea, king of Israel, Samaria was taken.
So at the end of 3 years, it took him 3 years to basically besiege the southern kingdom. Understand? They occupied it to a certain extent where they were in control of it. That's a regular thing. Right now you have like the Russians, over there in Ukraine. You have America in different parts. You have America in different parts of the world, whatever, Afghanistan and so on. Controlling territories. They are supposedly those nations are conducting the regular army, the regular business, but America somewhat in control. Unofficially of what's going on. The same thing when superpowers do that. That's not anything new. As a matter of fact, they learned those things from what went down in those days. So Shalmaneser, the Assyrians, came up against Hezekiah and took returned again. It came to pass 3 years that they took, even in the 6th year of Hezekiah, that is the 9th year of Hoshea, king of Assyria, Samaria was taken. Read verse 10 again.
Verse 10. And at the end of 3 years, they took it. Even in the
As a matter of fact, read for verse 9.
Verse 9. And it came to pass in the 4th year of King Hezekiah, which was the 7th year of Hoshea, son of Elah, king of Israel, that Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, came up against Samaria and besieged it.
Right, they came up against Samaria, the northern kingdom. Okay? And besieged the northern kingdom. Let me see the map again, Show me some map again. Read on. Show me the northern kingdom. Read on.
And at the end of 3 years, they took it.
After 3 years, they took Samaria, the northern kingdom. Read on.
Even in the 6th year of Hezekiah, that is the 9th year of Hoshea, king of Israel, Samaria was taken. And the king of Assyria did carry away Israel.
So let's see the northern kingdom. Can I show them Assyria? Yeah, you got another map. Right. See Assyria right there. See that? See Assyria. So I want to see where Assyria is in relation to the rest of Israel. So Assyria is Israel right there. It's Assyria right here. So Israel had many wars against different nations. You had a war against Syria right here. Okay. And this is Israel. It's showing Israel what it's not. It's not the kingdom of Israel, the northern kingdom. Then you have Judah, the southern kingdom. Then you have the other nation, Moab and Ammon and all, Edom down there. So all these nations, even sometimes Israel was occupying Edom and Moab and all that. So Israel, we just read also where Israel was smote the Philistines, because even the Philistines with so-called Africans were coming up against Israel. You know what I'm saying? So then over here, they're look how far they are. They're Assyrians. They're all the way over here. You had to cross the Tigris and Euphrates. You had to cross many rivers, man. To fight against Judah. Judah's all the way down here. So they came to fight against Judah from all the way here. So Assyria was to the northeast of Israel. Both the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Read on.
Verse 11. And the king of Assyria did carry away Israel unto Assyria, and put them in Halah, and in harbor by the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes, because they...
So the Assyria took, read 10 again? Or is it 11?
Verse 11.
Read 11.
And the king of Assyria did carry away Israel unto Assyria.
They carried away Israel unto Syria. They took Israel from here, brought them all the way to Assyria. Read on.
And the river in Halah, and in harbor by the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes.
And in the cities of the Medes. So that the Medes. Media. It's the media right here. So there are different cities. This map doesn't show the different cities in media, but different Israel was carried from all the way. The Assyrians carried the Israelites from another kingdom from all the way to Media. All the way from the homeland. So even from the time on, we were like exiles exiles in other people's territory. Read on.
Verse 12. Because they obeyed not the voice of the Most High, their power.
They obeyed not the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. Read on.
But transgressed his covenant, and all that Moses the servant of the Most High commanded, and would not hear them, nor do them. Now, in the 14th year of King Hezekiah.
Right, so now, in the 14th year of King Hezekiah, read on.
Did Sennacherib, king of Assyria, come up against all the fenced cities of Judah.
Hold on, this Sennacherib, this is another king. Okay, it was Shalmaneser, king of Assyria. He came up against the northern kingdom, but now he was succeeded by Sennacherib. Okay, who came up against the southern kingdom of Judah. Read on. You 13 again.
Verse 13. Now in the 14th year of King Hezekiah, did Sennacherib, king of Assyria, come up against all the fenced cities of Judah and took
all
them.
the fenced cities of Judah. What do you mean by fenced cities? They are just like a house, a gated community. Fenced city means it's like a protected to keep the border, right? To keep out the other nations, because there were a lot of wars going on, and the fenced city was like to protect you from being invaded by the other nations. Read on.
Verse 14. And Hezekiah, king of Judah, sent to the king of Assyria to Lachish, saying, I have offended. Return from me. That which thou puttest on me will I bear. And the king of Assyria appointed unto Hezekiah, king of Judah, 300 talents of silver and 30 talents of gold.
Yeah, but so the Assyrians came and took the fenced cities of Judah, and Hezekiah initially said, yeah, well, okay, I'm guilty, I've offended you. I know I should be paid, I should be respect to you, pay my tribute to you. Okay, whatever you ask of me, I'm going to pay to you. So the king, so Sennacherib said, okay, this is what I want. And Hezekiah said, okay, no problem, I'll pay you. Read on.
Verse 15. And Hezekiah gave him all the silver that was found in the house of the Most High, and in the treasures of the king's house.
So Hezekiah said, this time I'm going to pay all, give him all the treasure he found in the sanctuary, in the temple, plus whatever he had in his house, in his palace. Read on.
At that time did Hezekiah cut off the gold from the doors of the temple of the Most High, and from the pillars which Hezekiah king of Judah had overlaid, and gave it to the king of Assyria.
Right, so he gave everything to the Assyrian. Read on.
And the king of Assyria sent Tartan and Rabsaris and Rabshakeh from Lachish to King Hezekiah with a great host against Jerusalem.
So the king Sennacherib sent certain key men, certain key captains, sent Tartan, Rabsaris, and Rabshakeh from Lachish to King Hezekiah with a great host. You know what? A big army behind them. A great host against Jerusalem. Read on.
And they went up and came to Jerusalem. And when they were come up, they came and stood by the conduit of the upper pool, which is in the highway of the fuller's field. And when they had called to the king, there came out to them Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, which was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and Joah the son of Asaph the recorder. And Rabshakeh said unto them, Speak ye now to Hezekiah. Thus saith the great king, the king of Assyria, what confidence is this wherewith thou trustest?
Right, so the Assyrians now came up. They sent the captains with the military behind them to speak unto Hezekiah. And the Hebrews said, What confidence is this wherein thou trustest? I mean, what are you doing? Where do you get this confidence from? Why are you so bold? What are you trying to prove? Look at you. Look at us. Look at the army that we have. They came all the way from wherever they were. From the northeast, cross over two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, with the armies. I said, where do you get the confidence from? You have no military. You can't stand up against us. What are you trying to prove? Read on.
Verse 20. Thou sayest, but they are but vain words. I have counsel and strength for the war.
That's what. They're taunting them. They're making a mockery of them. Say, you say that you have counsel, but those are just words. I have counsel and strength for the war. Read on.
Now on whom dost thou trust, that thou rebellest against me?
How would you trust in that you're going to rebel against me? You know I'm this power in this region. Why are you trying to fight against me? Read on.
Now, behold, thou trustest upon the staff of this bruised reed, even upon Egypt, on which if a man lean, it will go into his hand.
Right, and because so the Egyptians now, just like O'Shea put his trust in Egypt, and when it came down to it, Egypt wasn't able to defend O'Shea, because the Assyrian went up against Jerusalem anyway and took it, and took O'Shea and the Assyrian took the Israelites out and put O'Shea in prison, and Egypt didn't do anything. So what are you doing? You're gonna trust in Egypt? It's like a bruised reed, man. Read on.
And pierce it. So a Pharaoh, king of Egypt, unto all that trust on him.
Yeah, Pharaoh is not reliable, man. You can't put your trust in Pharaoh. Nobody ever benefited from putting their trust in Pharaoh. So why are you putting your trust in the Egyptians? Read on.
Verse 22. But if ye say unto me, we trust in the Most High our power, is not that he whose high places and whose altars Hezekiah have taken away, and hath said to Judah and Jerusalem, ye shall worship before this altar in Jerusalem?
So they're making a mockery. Say, first you can't rely on the king of Egypt. He's like a bruised reed. A bruised reed like a little plant. Like when the wind blows, it gets blown away. And with the strong wind, it gets blown away and get broken. So they're saying, no, you're going to trust in your God. But if you say unto me, we trust in the Lord our power, is not that he whose high places and whose altars Hezekiah hath taken away, and has said to Judah and Jerusalem, you shall worship before this altar in Jerusalem? Is not this the same God who King Hezekiah took away the altars and all that, and said, no, put your trust in the Most High? It's the same God who allowed me to come up here to fight against you. So if he's your defense, why didn't he stop me from coming up and invading your land? That's what I was saying. They were basically saying, the Most High no strength in you. Most High can defend you. Your God, the Yahweh, can't defend you either. The Egyptian can't defend you, neither can the Most High defend you. Hezekiah got you worshiping this God. But as you can see, the Most High was not able to prevent me from coming up and besieging your land. So why are you putting your trust in him? That's what Hezekiah was saying. What is what the Assyrian king was saying to Hezekiah and the Israelites. Read on.
Verse 23. Now therefore, I pray thee, Give pledges to my lord, the king of Assyria, and I will deliver thee 2,000 horses, if thou be able on thy part to set riders upon them. How then wilt thou turn away the face of one captain of the least of my master's servants, and put thy trust on Egypt for chariots and for horsemen? Am I now come up without the Most High against this place to destroy it?
You said, how then will you turn away the face of one captain of the least of my master's servants, and put your trust on Egypt for chariots and for? Why you gonna go against my king, our servants, and put your trust in the Egyptians? Plus the person said, and am I now come up without the Lord against this place to destroy it? What is it saying right there? And am I now come up without the Most High against this place to destroy it? He said what? The Most High allowed me to come up and destroy it. That's what he's saying. Am I now here without the Most High against this place to destroy it? You put your trust in this most in your God. Your God allows me to come up here to destroy this place. So this guy was playing with their mind. He was messing with their mind, trying to bring them their confidence in the Most High.
Read on. Verse 26. Then said Eliakim, the son of
Read 25.
Verse 25. Am I now come up without the Most High against this place to destroy it? The Most High said to me, go up against this land and destroy it.
So it's saying that the Most High told him to go against this land and destroy it. That's why I was trying to tell the Israelites that it was the Most High who told him to go come up against them. So he was trying to destroy their confidence, trying to have them distrust the Most High. You know.
Then said Eliakim the son of Hilkiah and Shebna and Joah unto Rabshakeh, speak, I pray thee, to thy servants in the Syrian language.
So the Israelites were saying, speak to us in the Syrian language. Why were they saying that? Why were they telling the Assyrians to speak to them in the Syrian language? Not the Syrian, but the Syrian language. Because the Syrians and the Assyrians were not too far from each other. So I guess they were familiar with each other's culture. So when I'm up again, with the northern portion of it. See that? This is Syria right here, and this is just Assyria right here. You can see the similarity in name. Mm-hmm. So it's possible that ethnically they were the same people somehow, some way, somehow. Plus they were close to each other. So they were familiar with each other's culture, and they spoke the same language. And they spoke the Hebrew language also. Because they were speaking to the Israelites in Hebrew. That's why they're saying, don't speak to us in Hebrew. Speak to us in Syrian. Why were they saying that? Because they didn't want the Hebrews to hear what the Assyrians were saying. They didn't want the Hebrews to hear what the Assyrians were saying, because they would have been offended and become weak and all that, and distrustful of their own government, and wanna give in to the Assyrians. And Israel didn't want that. Read on.
Verse 26. Mm-hmm. Then said Eliakim the son of Hilkiah and Shebna and Joah unto Rabshakeh, speak, I pray thee, to thy servants in the Syrian language, for we understand it, and talk not with us in the Jews' language, in the ears of the people that are on the wall.
Right, so they said, don't speak to us in our language, the Jews' language, the Hebrew, which is Hebrew. Speak to us in Syrian, because we understand Syrian. Because this is what's going on. Eliakim and Shebna and Hilkiah, Joanna, all these are Israelites. He said, speak to us. He said, we speak the Syrian language too. Because they were all familiar with each other's language. Just like they were bilingual, or trilingual, or multilingual. Yeah. Because we don't speak to us in a language so that in our language because our people may hear it. We don't want them to hear it. Read on.
Verse 27. But Rabshakeh said unto them, hath my master sent me to thy master, and to thee to speak these words? Hath he not sent me to the men which sit on the wall, that they may eat their own dung and drink their own piss with you?
Right, so saying, my king didn't send me to speak to you guys, he sent me to speak to the people, the regular people. People sitting in the wall, so I want to hear that they start trembling in fear. I mean, I start peeing themselves and defecating themselves and all that. I want your people to hear, the common people, the regular people to hear what my king is saying against you. What's going to happen to you? So when they hear these words, they start trembling. Read on.
Then Rabshakeh stood and cried with a loud voice in the Jews' language and spake, saying, hear the word of the great king, the king of Assyria.
So this guy got even more hype. He started amping up his voice louder and louder. Like, hear the word that the Assyrian king said against you. Read on.
Thus saith the king, let not Hezekiah deceive you, for he shall not be able to deliver you out of his hand. Neither let Hezekiah make you trust in the Most High, saying, the Most High will surely deliver us, and this city shall not be delivered into the hand of the king of Assyria. Hearken not to Hezekiah, for thus saith the king of Assyria, make an agreement with me by a present, and come out to me, and then eat ye every man of his own vine, and every one of his fig tree, and drink ye every one the waters of his cistern, until I come and take you away to a land like your own land, a land of corn and wine, a land of bread and vineyards, a land of oil, olive, and of honey, that ye may live and not die. And hearken not unto Hezekiah when he persuadeth you, saying, the Lord will deliver us.
So it's saying, now don't listen to this guy. Don't listen to your king. Don't listen to what Hezekiah had to tell you. Put your trust in him. Put your trust in your God. That your God is going to deliver you. Make a league with me. Make an agreement with me and pay me such and such amount. A certain period of time. And for that, I let you eat this. Let you eat. I let you live. Until I'm ready to take you away from your land and bring you to a land that's similar to mine, similar to yours. So this guy said, I let you survive a little bit until I'm ready to take you from your own land and bring you to someplace else. I mean, what kind of agreement is that?
Right.
But that's what the Assyrians were proposing to the Israelites. Don't listen to your king Hezekiah. Listen to what I'm telling you. Make an agreement with me. It's going to be to your own benefit. Read on.
Verse 33.
Don't put your trust in the Most High or your king. Read on.
Hath any of the gods of the nations delivered at all his land out of the hand of the king of Assyria?
And they were saying, of any of the gods of the other nations, look at my track record. Look at my track record. Look what I did to the other nation before you. Do a diligent research and see. Did their gods deliver them out of my hands? So what makes you think that your God is going to deliver you out of my hands? That's the mindset we're trying to play, You see the psychic right there. Read on.
Where are the gods of Hamath and of Arpad? Where are the gods of Sepharvaim, Hena, and Ivah? Have they delivered Samaria out of mine hand?
What about Samaria? Your own people. They should be fresh in your memory. I just took them away a couple of years ago. Are you sort of the same God, right? You don't God prevent me from taking them out of their land? So what makes you think your God is going to prevent me from taking you out of your land? You know what I'm saying? That's what we're still trying to mess with them. But of course, what did the Most High allowed the Assyrians to take out the northern kingdom of the land? Because this would be the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. All right, but Oshia was an evil, he did evil in the sight of the Most High. That's why I went there to begin with. to show the juxtapose one kingdom against the other, so you can see the difference in how the Most High is going to treat the northern kingdom versus how the Most High is going to treat the southern kingdom when they've been attacked by the same enemy, the Assyrians. I'll read on.
Verse 35. Who are they among all the gods of the countries that have delivered their country out of mine hand, that the Most High should deliver Jerusalem out of mine hand?
Right. What is God? These gods of these nations, they weren't able to help their people. So what makes you think your God is going to be able to help you? He didn't help the northern kingdom, the Sumerians. So what makes you think he's going to help you? Read on.
Verse 36. But the people held their peace and answered him not a word. For the king's commandment was, saying, answer him not.
See, the people had respect for Hezekiah. Understand? Because Hezekiah was a righteous king. And they knew that the Most High was with him. And they saw what Hezekiah did to the Philistines anyway. So Hezekiah, he had some track record of his home. They knew that the Assyrians are a mighty army, but Hezekiah, he defeated the Philistines. Plus, they know that the Most High was with him. Because go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, that's what I read as well. But it also, when we was reading, it was saying that Hezekiah stripped all the gold. It like he had some type of fear as well. At the same time, he knew, cause he stripped the temple of all the gold and things.
Right. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, you did. Because the king came up. The Assyrians came up and they besieged a great army, and they besieged the southern kingdom, Jerusalem, and all that. So when there's an imminent war in front of you, an imminent danger in front of you, you're gonna try and push it off. You know what I'm saying? That's the reaction that I think Hezekiah had. It was imminent danger. The army was right there in front of him. Say, you know what? I'm not gonna try to bow to this guy. But you know what? Just to avoid any conflict to my people and all that, let me just give him something. He will leave. But that wasn't enough for the Assyrians. I said, I want more. That's not enough. We want a regular tribute. We want regular tribute to us. You want more. We want to continue. You know what I'm saying? Plus, we plan to take you away from the kingdom. We plan to destroy this kingdom. Just like we destroy the other kingdoms of the other nations. Read on.
Okay. Verse 37. Then came Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, which was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and Joel the son of Asaph the recorder, to Hezekiah with their clothes rent, and told him the words of Rabshakeh.
Right, so Hezekiah's men, servants, they came to him and told him all the words that Rabshakeh, the captain or the servant of Sennacherib said. Okay, that's the end of chapter 18. Let's go to chapter 19 now to see how it actually played out.
Con. This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 19 and verse 1. And it came to pass when King Hezekiah heard it, that he rent his clothes and covered himself with sackcloth, and went into the house of the Most High. And he sent Eliakim, which was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and the elders of the priests, covered with sackcloth, to Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos.
So this is serious. This guy is not satisfied with what the president gave him. This guy wants more, which we're not able to offer. So we got to this around. You know what? We got to escalate this. So they send out his men. So they send his men to the prophet of the Most High, Isaiah. So they rent their clothes, cover themselves with sackcloth. You know the ritual that went through, Israelite, they used to go through whenever they're lamenting and seeking the heaven of the Most High, they humble themselves. So they went to the prophet Isaiah to inquire of the Most High. Read on.
Con. Verse 3. And they said unto him, Thus saith Hezekiah, This day is a day of trouble, and of rebuke, and blasphemy. For the children are come to birth, and there is not strength to bring forth.
So this is a day of trouble, a blasphemy, a rebuke. The children are come to the birth, and there is not strength to bring them forth. So children are being born, but we have not to sustain them. We can't feed them. We can't, you know what I'm saying? Because everything we have is being paid to the Assyrians. We're finished. We got to seek help from the Most High. Read on.
It may be the Most High thy power will hear all the words of Rabshakeh, whom the king of Assyria, his master, hath sent to reproach the living power, and will reprove the words which the Most High thy power hath heard. Wherefore lift up thy prayer for the remnant that are left.
So now they're beseeching the prophet Isaiah to go to the Most High. And then the Most High know what the Assyrian king was saying against him. Or they were rebuking the Most High. Or they were questioning the authority and strength of the Most High. Read on.
Verse 5. So the servants of King Hezekiah came to Isaiah. And Isaiah said unto them, Thus shall ye say to your master, Thus saith the Most High, Be not afraid of the words which thou hast heard, with which the servant of the king of Assyria hath blasphemed me.
See that? It's a strong prophet right there. You know? Be not afraid of the word of the Assyrian king and what they've said against the Most High, to blaspheme the Most High. Read on.
Verse 7. Behold, I will send a blast upon him, and he shall hear a rumor, and shall return to his own land. And I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own land.
The Most High said, what? I will send a blast upon him, and he shall hear a rumor, and shall return to his own land. Read on.
So Rabshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria warring against Libnah.
So now, let me see on the map up there. So Rabshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria warring against Libnah. So this guy was waging war against a lot of different places. Let me see where Libnah is. Yeah, there's a map up there of Libnah. Let me see what country does Libnah belong to. So this guy was making a war against a lot of different territories. That's what they ate back in the days. A lot of these different countries, man. I'm a strong military. It's like America, that's what they eat in a way. I'm a strong military of these different countries. Pay tribute to them. So America America what? Invades other different nations. Next thing you know, that's how so-called white man ate. Historically, invade these different territories. Next thing you know, all the resources of the place are gone.
Gone.
Gone. They control all the oil coming to America. All the gold going to Europe. All the minerals, diamonds, going to London, going to Paris. That's how they hate. So I mean, the same thing is going. There's nothing new under the sun. I read on. Go ahead.
In 1984, when Ronald Reagan invaded Grenada,
Right.
with Louis Bishop, this country is not even the south of Texas.
South of Texas, Grenada probably have like 100,000 people. We're the smallest islands in the Caribbean. And that's that, they just went there to show their might in the region, in the Caribbean. It's like the same thing when they invaded Panama, and they slaughtered a lot of Panamanians. Show their might to intimidate the people, to remind them that we are the superpower. They got to bow down to us. So that's that. So you see, they go to these different territories now, and they control the land. I read on.
So Rabshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria warring against Libnah, for he had heard that he was departed from Lachish.
Right. So it was all over the place with Lachish. He's earlier they deported from Lachish. So it is such a guy was making war all over the territories. What's your problem? Oh, Libna, okay. Libna and Lachish, okay. So we can see that it's close to the west, right? Gibeon, right? So it looks like whose territory is that? Let's so we can see it's directly west of the Dead Sea. Let's go back to the previous map now. We have an idea. Where's the Dead Sea?
Oh, I saw it.
Okay. Where's the Dead Sea? Okay. Yeah, Libna. So that's oh, okay. So that's in Israel. Okay. Oh, okay. So okay. Right. So all right. And Lachish. Okay. There's Libna right there. That's Lachish. Those are towns in the northern kingdom. They were towns in okay. So they were still finishing closing up finishing some unfinished business to take care of in Israel in the northern kingdom. Okay, that's where they were. They were still in Israel, in the northern kingdom. Read on.
Verse 9. And when he heard say of Tirhakah, king of Ethiopia, behold, he is come out to fight against thee. He sent messengers again unto Hezekiah, saying, Thus shall ye speak to Hezekiah, king of Judah, saying, Let not thy power in whom thou trustest deceive thee, saying, Jerusalem shall not be delivered into the hand of the king of Assyria.
So they send messages to King Hezekiah, said, don't put your trust in the Most High. Don't let the power of Israel deceive you, man. Saying, Jerusalem shall not be delivered into the hand of the king of Assyria. Don't believe that. Read on.
Behold, thou hast heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all the lands, by destroying them utterly, and shalt thou be delivered?
So you have heard what the kings of Assyria have done to the other nations, right? So what makes you think this is going to be anything different with you? What makes you think that you're going to be delivered? Read on.
Have the gods of the nations delivered them, which my fathers have destroyed?
Right. Did the gods of those nations deliver them? In those countries that my forefather destroyed? Read on.
As goes on, and Haran, and Rezeph, and the children of Eden, which were in Thelasar?
Mm-hmm.
Where is the king of Hamath, and the king of Arpad, and the king of the city of Sepharvaim, of Hena, and of Ivah? And Hezekiah received the letter of the hand of the messengers and read it. And Hezekiah went up into the house of the Most High and spread it before the Lord. And Hezekiah prayed before the Most High and said, O Most High power of Israel, which dwellest between the cherubims, thou art the power, even thou alone of all the kingdoms of the earth. Thou hast made heaven and earth.
Yeah, but Hezekiah wasn't in fear. Hezekiah knew that the Most High was the power. And regardless of what was going on, Hezekiah knew that the Most High was his power. And the Most High, this guy was confident in the Most High. He knew of the history of how the Most High delivered Israel out of many different situations, which are more dire and more serious than this. So he had no fear that the Most High was not going to deliver him out of this situation. Read on.
Verse 16. Adawan, bow down thine ear and hear. Open, Adawan, thine eyes and see, and hear the words of Sennacherib, which had sent him to reproach the living power. Of a truth, Adawan, the kings of Assyria have destroyed the nations and their lands, and have cast their gods into the fire, for they were no gods, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore they have destroyed them.
Right, so he went to the Most High and said, well, of a truth, the Assyrian king destroyed many nations and their gods, but guess what? Their gods are no gods. Their gods were idols, made with man's hands. Okay, that's why they destroyed them. Read on.
Now therefore, O Adawan, our power, I beseech thee, save thou us out of his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that thou art the Most High power, even thou only.
So we're saying that save them out of our hands. So save us out of their hands, so that the whole earth can know that you are the power. That your name shall not be blasphemed amongst the nations. So the Most High, you were saying the Most High, don't do this for our sake, do it for your sake, for your name's sake. Read on.
Verse 20. Then Isaiah the son of Amos sent to Hezekiah, saying, Thus saith the Most High Power of Israel, that which thou hast prayed to me against Sennacherib, king of Assyria, I have heard.
Moses, I heard you pray. Why did Moses hear his prayer? Give me the proper description proper. Is it 28 and 5? Moses only hear to pray if he keeps his commandments. Fine. No. 28 and 9. Proverbs 28 and 9.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 28 and verse 9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be abomination.
Right. He that turneth his ear away from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be an abomination. So, if you don't keep the Most High's laws, statutes and commandments, your prayer shall be an abomination. Give me also John 9:31.
This is the book of John, chapter 9 and verse 31. Now we know that the Most High heareth not sinners. But if any man be a worshiper of the Most High and doeth his will, him he heareth.
Right. See, that's why the Most High heard Hezekiah's prayer. Read it again.
This is the book of John, chapter 9 and verse 31. Mm-hmm. Now we know that the Most High heareth not sinners.
The Most High don't hear sinners. The Most High didn't hear O'Shea's prayer. Because what? O'Shea sinned against the Most High. O'Shea didn't keep the Most High's commandments. So when O'Shea asked the Most High for help against the Assyrians, the Most High didn't hear him. The Most High delivered him into the hands of the Assyrians. Understand? But what? It's a different situation with Hezekiah. Hezekiah kept the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. So the Most High is going to hear. The Most High heard his prayer. Read it again. Finish.
Now we know that the Most High heareth not sinners. But if any man be a worshiper of the Most High and doeth his will, him he heareth.
If any man be a worshiper of the Most High and doeth his will, him the Most High hears. Hezekiah was a worshiper of the Most High and did the Most High's will. So what? The Most High heard Hezekiah, as opposed to hearing Hosea, who did not keep the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. Big difference. Understand? So you want to keep, when the Most High hear your prayer, what do you do? Keep the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. You have something?
Psalms chapter 77, verse 1.
77 and 1? I'll read it.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 77 and verse 1. I cried unto the Most High with my voice, even unto the Most High with my voice, and he gave ear unto me. In the day of my trouble, I sought the Most High. My soul ran in the night and ceased not. My soul refused to be comforted. I remembered the Most High and was troubled. I complained and my spirit was overwhelmed. Salah.
Right. You more? Are you see that? Yeah. Put your trust in the Most High, but guess what though? Your confidence in the Most High is going to come from what? You're keeping in the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. You know if you do something wicked, man, you got to feel guilty going to the Most High. You got to say, the Most High going to hear me though? But you know you're keeping the Most High's laws, you're making the effort to keep the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. You go to the Most High with confidence. He's your defense. He's our defense. We're supposed to go to him and ask him for help. But the Most High is concerned that we don't come to Him. When we're in trouble. But we have to keep His laws, statutes, and commandments. Go back to 2 Kings.
This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 19 and verse 21. This is the word that the Most High hath spoken concerning him. The virgin, the daughter of Zion, hath despised thee, and laughed thee to scorn, that the daughter of Jerusalem hath shaken her head at thee.
So the Most High was saying, Hezekiah said, tell this guy, man, the virgin daughter of Zion hath despised thee. The women of Zion don't regard you. They laugh at you, man. The daughter of Jerusalem are shaking their head at you. See, who are these Assyrians? You want nothing to do with them. So the Most High, use the women as an example. Say, hey, women don't want, Israelite women don't want you. Read on.
Whom hast thou reproached and blasphemed? And against whom?
Who are you dissing? Who have you reproached and blasphemed? Read on.
And against whom hast thou exalted thy voice and lifted up thine eyes on high, even against the Holy One of Israel?
Who have you despised? Who have you reproached and blasphemed? And against whom have you exalted thy voice and lifted up thine eyes on high, even against the Holy One of Israel? The Most High didn't say the Holy One of the world. The Holy One of Israel. That's who he identified himself as. The Holy One of Israel. That's who you reproached and blasphemed. That's who you magnify yourself against. The Israelites. The God of Israel. Read on.
By the messengers thou hast reproached the Most High, and hast said, with the multitude of my chariots I am come up to the height of the mountains, to the sides of Lebanon, and will cut down the tall cedar trees thereof, and the choice fir trees thereof. And I will enter into the lodgings of his borders, and into the forest of his Carmel.
So you're blaspheming against the Most High. You magnify yourself against the power of Israel. You come up here with proud with your chariots and your military might. Say that you're going to take on the choice. I use this is like an analogy. The tall cedar trees. The mine is gone? It's gone?
It's just about gone. It's
I
gone.
think maybe
Battery here.
is it battery or
Use
maybe
this
it's a slap? Use that.
Use
Shalom.
Con.
Yeah, so it's using the cedar tree of Lebanon as an analogy, saying the cedar trees represent the most prominent and the more important men of Israel. So you come up with a military. Think you're gonna conquer this nation. Read on.
Verse 24. I have digged and drunk strange waters, and with the sole of my feet have I dried up all the rivers of besieged places. Hast thou not heard long ago how I have done it, and of ancient times that I have formed it? Now have I brought it to pass that thou shouldest be to lay waste fenced cities into ruinous heaps. Therefore their inhabitants were of small power. They were dismayed and confounded. They were as the grass of the field, and as the green herb, as the grass on the housetops, and as corn blasted before it be grown up. But I know thy abode, and thy going out, and thy coming in, and thy rage against me. Because thou rage against me, and thy tumult is come up into mine ears, therefore I will put my hook into thy nose, and my bridle in thy lips, and I will turn thee back by the way by which thou camest.
Right, so the Most High, I've heard of all those things that you did, and you're bragging about you conquered those different nations, taking them down and all that. But guess what? That's not going to happen to this time against my Israel. Therefore, I'm gonna put my but I know that abode and that going out and that coming in and that rage against me. Because that rage against me and that tumult is come up into mine ears. Therefore I would put my hook in thy nose, and my bridle in thy lips, and I would turn thee back, and the way shall come us. I'm aware of your track record. I know all the deeds of you have done. I know you demolished and destroyed those different nations. And your boast against me. That come into my ears. So I'm going to grab you by your ears and turn it back. And lead it back into the direction from which you came. Back to your homeland. Read on.
Verse 29. And this shall be a sign unto thee. Ye shall eat this year such things as grow of themselves. And in the second year that which springeth of the same. And in the third year sow ye, and reap, and plant vineyards, and eat the fruits thereof. And the remnant that is escaped of the house of Judah shall yet again take root downward, and bear fruit upward. For out of Jerusalem shall go forth a remnant, and they that escape out of the Mount Zion. The zeal of the Most High of hosts shall do this. Therefore, thus saith the Most High concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into this city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shield, nor cast a bank against it.
Right, so the Most High said, you're going to go back into your homeland. You're going to be all right back there. That's what they were saying to the Assyrian king. You're gonna eat the crops that you grow, but you will not enter into my land. You will not enter into the land of Israel. And the Israelites that escaped from you, they're going to be all right for a while too. Because I'm going to put the zeal in them for them to be progressive and prosperous going forward. Read on.
Verse 33. By the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and shall not come into this city, saith the Most High.
The Most High will tell Isaiah to tell Hezekiah to tell the Assyrians, the same way you came into the city, the same route you're going to take to go back to your land. You will not come into Jerusalem. All those thoughts you had of destroying this place and enslaving the people, carrying them out of the land into your territories, that's not going to come to fruition. Read on.
Verse 34. For I will defend this city to save it for mine own sake and for my servant David's sake.
And the Most High said, I'm not going to do this for Israel's sake necessarily. I'm going to do this for what? For my sake, for my name's sake, and for David's sake. So all the nation round about can know that I, the power, the Holy One of Israel, is the only power on the earth. And even though you Assyrians have destroyed many nations before you, which the old earth have heard about, that's not going to happen this time. Read on.
And it came to pass that night that the angel of the Most High went out and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000.
And it came to pass that night that who? Read it again.
Salat. And it came to pass that night that the angel of the Lord went out and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000.
So that wasn't these are an army that did that. An angel of the Lord. What an angel. I wonder which angel that was. Was that the Mashiach Yahushua? Was that the Mashiach Yahushua coming from Basra? In garment dyed in red? Can you imagine what angel is it? How many you killed? And smote in the camp of the Syrians 100. Four score. What's a score? 80. There's only 85,000 people. That is one angel killed.
A lot.
And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. That was in one day, instead of a couple of hours. So that angel, the Most High, the Most High got us like that. Where the Most High said that his armies like what? Thousands of thousands? Even thousands of people, I'm saying?
Fine.
But can you imagine if one angel killed that many people? Can you imagine how many people Yahushua's army is going to kill? Give me that Isaiah 6. And the slain of the Most High shall be many. So all those people think that the Most High come back to bring peace on earth. Yahweh has come back to bring peace on earth. They haven't read this. They haven't read the scriptures. Yeah, Isaiah 66.
66?
I think so, right?
66 verse 15, Kanye.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, and verse 15. For behold, the Most High will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind.
So that the Most High will come with fire. What's fire for? For purging, for burning, for destroying. And his chariots like a whirlwind. You know?
To render his anger.
To render is not to make peace. To render his anger. Read on.
With fury.
The fury,
And his rebuke with flames of fire.
Uh-huh.
For by fire and by his sword will the Most High plead with all flesh.
For with fire and his sword. The sword for? What is the sword? To kill an instrument. Read on. That's what the Most High is going to plead with all flesh. He's not gonna have a conversation with anybody. He's not gonna have a dialogue with anybody. He's not gonna have a counsel with anybody. He's gonna come to plead with all flesh. What? With fire and with sword. He's coming with destruction. Read on.
And the slain of the Most High shall be many.
And the slain of the Most High shall be many. Read on.
They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh.
So all those people thinking that it's okay to eat pork, they gotta be the first on top of the chart. You got it somehow?
Psalm 68 and 17.
I get that. Psalm 68 and 17. On the slain of the Most High shall be many.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 68 and verse 17. The chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels.
Did I 20,000s? Read it again.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 68 and verse 17. The chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai in the holy place.
20,000 angels? The chariots. And those chariots are occupied by angels. Not peace angels. They didn't come to make not peace angels. Angels like one of these, like this brother right here, who killed 185,000 people in a few hours. Wow. Like, I guess, wow. Go back to 2 Kings.
This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 19 and verse 35. And it came to pass that night that the angel of the Lord went out and smote in the camp over the Assyrians 180,5,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. Mm-hmm. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went and returned and dwelt in Nineveh.
So Sennacherib said, he turned around, it's too much. 185,000 people killed. He didn't even know who killed them because he didn't see the movement in the Israelite army. He just saw 185,000 people dead. So he must have realized, this must be the God of Israel. It must be the God of Israel who did this because that army, Hezekiah, he couldn't have done that. And then he didn't. Plus, his men are surrounded. He didn't see any activity or any movement from the Israelite military. He just saw 185,000 of his men dead, and he was wondering how did it happen. He knew this God has got to be the God of Hezekiah, the God of Israel. Got to say something?
No, like you say, the army of Judah. I know Israel was a whole 10 tribes, and compared to the small state that Judah had, no way. If Israel gave up all they had, they couldn't do nothing. What could Judah did
it's possible that the northern kingdom was more populated than the southern. Possibly, but Judah was large though. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Oh yeah, but the Assyrians they were gonna come to a track record. They knew what they did to the other nations, and all the nations feared them, and even the Egyptians feared them because the Egyptians said you guys didn't pay me enough to go up against the Assyrians, so I'm just gonna chill. I'm just gonna take the little tribute you gave me, the little money you gave me, and the deposit you gave me. I'm not gonna collect on the balance. I'm just gonna take the deposit and chill. That's what the Egyptians said. I said, you're on your own. So we're saying the Egyptians they're like Bruce Reeds. So the northern kingdom they couldn't stand a chance against the Syrians. And the Most High didn't answer that prayer because what? King Hoshea didn't keep the Most High's commandments. But they answered Hezekiah's prayer because what? It's because the righteous man to keep the Most High's commandments. You know what I'm saying? So the Most High answered your prayer when you keep His laws, statutes, and commandments. He will even send angels to defend you. Understand? We don't with us individuals, we don't want to keep the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments in your daily endeavor, man. The Most High will got the Most High, He will even make your enemies get peace with you. It will inspire you, give you inspirational thoughts in the mind to represent yourself in a situation, in an altercation. So that way, that's our choice right there. That's our defense right there. Let's wrap this up. One more verse.
Come on. Verse 37. And it came to pass, as he was worshiping in the house of
Read 36 again. Read into it.
Verse 36. So Sennacherib,
king of Assyria, read on.
King of Assyria departed and went and returned and dwelt at Nineveh.
Yeah, the capital city of Assyria. Read on.
And it came to pass, as he was worshiping in the house of Nisroch, his god.
That'd be crazy. You saw what the Most High just did, and you're still worshiping your idol. That's why the Most High. Let me see what I'm doing. Read on.
That Adramelech and Sharazar, his son, smote him with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Armenia, and Esarhaddon, his son, reigned in his stead.
So his own two sons killed him. His sons killed him. Said, "Man, you just lost 185,000 people, and you think you're gonna rule again? Come on, man." So they run up on him. What's his name? Adramelech and Sharazar, his son, smote him with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Assyria, into the land of Armenia. And Esarhaddon, his other son, reigned in his stead. So two of his sons killed him and ran away, and another territory, and his other son reigned in his stead. So that concludes today's lesson of the altercation between the Assyrian king, Assyrian army, versus the angelic army of the Most High. And guess who prevailed? The angelic army of the Most High. In defense of Israel. That's what happened when you keep the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. The Most High sends his angels to guard you. The water. That's your honor for logging in, for listening. And Madiam Wapanya, Yerushalayim, stand and face Jerusalem. Psalms 133. Shayar, Hama Alwa, Ladawar, Hana, Ma, Tawab, Wama, Naayam, Shabath, Akyam, Gam, Yakar, Kashaman, Atawab, Al, Araash, Yarad, Al, Azakwan, Zakwan, Haaran, Shayarad, Al, Kaya, Madawat Yawa, Katal, Karamwan, Shayarad, Al, Araria, Kasayawan, Kaya, Sham, Tazawa, Yahweh, Abaraka, Kayawam, Aid, Iwalam, Ba'asham, Amashiach, Yahushai, the water, Aman.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 133. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell in unity, Salakia, for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Most High commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. By Hashem HaMashiach Yahushai, the water of Yad, Aman.
Kan. The water Yashua about so much Yahushai for logging in. Don't forget tomorrow the Most High will be the continuation of the Shabbat service with Chief Minister Shalomon. And before that we have the Hebrew class.